In the previous lecture, we studied how we get energy bands and how we get energy band gaps. That is, we were able to see, for example, here how the bands come. So, we have the energy bands, and then we have the band gaps, which are shown as 2V1, 2V2, and we also showed things such as how the band E versus K intersects the zone edge, and it is usually intersecting it perpendicularly. So, it appears like, whenever we have a zone edge at the zone edges, at the zone boundaries, we seem to open a gap. That is, you have E of as a function of K is continuous within a zone, and at the zone boundaries there is a jump. The question is it general? Is it always the case? Is it always the case that we will see band gaps at zone edges? That is it always true that we have band gaps at zone edges? Well, to understand this, we have to look at the space groups. Okay, what are space groups? Because we have to look at two different kinds of space groups. I will come to that one. So, what are space groups? Are elements are formed by elements by symmetry elements such as rotations, reflections, and additional elements such as additional symmetry elements such as mirror planes, such as rather glide planes they are called, not mirror planes. I will come to that, I will tell you what it means, such as glide planes and screw axes. Okay. So, now what do they actually mean? So, in general we can write down the elements of a space group as follows. Elements of a space group can be represented as R and a vector A. So, what it does is R is actually is a element such as rotation or reflection. So, it can be a mirror plane or it can be a rotation axis, and A is a translation by a fraction of the lattice translation vector. So, we can have what happens in glide plane is the following. R is a mirror plane and the translation A is along the vector which includes the mirror plane, is along a vector lying in the mirror plane. So, the examples of these things you can actually see in books. So, I am not going to spend too much time in actually discussing these things, and then I will also describe what a screw axis is. Screw axis, R is a rotation, is rotation by an axis, rotation about an axis by a certain angle about an axis, and A is translation along the axis. We have, if you include these symmetry elements, if glide planes and screw axis are included, we have 230 distinct groups called space groups. Space groups can be classified into two types, can be simorphic or non-simorphic. What are simorphic space groups? So, simorphic space groups are those in which what we have is r comma 0, the elements r comma 0 form a group which is a subgroup of the space group. The number of simorphic groups are actually 73 in 73. There are 73 simorphic space groups. Then we have what are called non-simorphic groups. Space groups where R0 is not a subgroup of the space group. So, simorphic space groups are those where R0, that is, if you do not have any translations and you only take the operations R, the operations R actually form a subgroup which is a proper subgroup of the space group. But on the other hand, in non-simorphic space groups, R0 do not form a proper subgroup of the space group. Well, it is important to know the distinction because we can now answer the question as to whether you are always going to open up a band gap at the band zone edges. So, in order to understand that, let us look at the following, that is the crystal symmetry implies V of R is equal to the symmetry element R A operating upon V of R. That is, any of the space group symmetry, when it operates on the function V of R, it gives you back the function V of R. V of R is the potential, is the crystal potential. Now, what happens to the Fourier transforms of these? So, supposing I take a Fourier transform of V of R corresponding to the wave vector Km, then what it implies is that Vkm is equal to e to the I Km dot A V of Rkm. So, let us look at it a little bit more carefully. So, if I take the vector Km in the reciprocal lattice and make an operation R on that one, so that I got the vector Rkm, then the Fourier component corresponding to Rkm is V of Rkm. That is related to the original V of Km by a phase factor which is e to the power I Km dot A, okay, where A is the translation that is associated with the space group operation. Okay. Now, we can also have cases, there are operations which give Vkm equal to Vrkm. So, there are Fourier components of the potential. If the Fourier components of potential satisfy this Vkm is equal to Vrkm for some particular R and A, then what it means is that if A is a fraction of lattice translation vector, say some lattice translation vector AL by 2. AL, bit clumsy in the notation, AL is a lattice translation vector. You remember that we had lattice translation vectors A, B, C. So, that A I am going to call as A subscript L, so as to make a distinction with the vector A by which I am going to translate my function after operation by R. Then for some Km which satisfies Vkm equal to Vrkm because of symmetry, what we will see is that we will have Vkm is equal to e to the power I pi times some odd integer. For example, if it is K1 which is along the A axis, for example, if Km is equal to A, then Km dot A is equal to Km dot AL by 2 is equal to 1. Okay. So, that this becomes e to the power I pi times some odd integer times Vrkm. So, I have Vkm is equal to minus V of Rkm. So, because symmetry requires Vkm equal to Vrkm. This is how Km was chosen. This implies the two, that is Vkm equal to minus Vrkm, this one, and Vkm equal to Vrkm, that implies that Vkm should be equal to 0. Okay. So, if Vkm is 0, then the band gap does not exist. So, although it appears like a general theorem that at the zone edges you must always have a non-zero band gap, but unfortunately this does not work in some non-symmetric space groups, because and for some Km, that is for some zone boundaries, because Vkm will be 0. So, this particular phenomenon is known as sticking of bands at the band edges, at the zone edges. This one of the examples where this happens is the graphene lattice. The graphene or graphite lattice even. We have 0 band gap at the zone edges. This has given rise to many interesting things recently, like the Dirac dispersion, Dirac cone, and so on and so forth. And also this is the reason why graphite is known as a 0 band gap semiconductor. So, you can call graphite is a 0 band gap semiconductor. So, I just showed you that it is not always the case that you will have a band gap that opens up at the zone edges as given by the second order the degenerate perturbation theory, but that you will have the cases where you will not have a band gap opening at all, because the Fourier component of the potential vanishes by symmetry. Okay, so this is one of the things that we have discussed so far, and now what we can do is we have come across the following now, that is we have been able to get, we have shown that the periodic potential generally opens a band gap at the zone edges. Now, I want to see slightly different, that is I want to look at the constant energy surfaces in K space in a 2-dimensional lattice. Okay. So, we shall look at in detail the constant energy surface surfaces. The lowest that you can think of is a 2-dimensional lattice, because in 1-dimensional lattice you only have 2 points for the constant energy surface and 2 points do not make a surface. So, really you have to go into either a 2-dimensional case or a 3-dimensional case to get actually constant energy surfaces. So, we will study constant energy surfaces in 2 dimensions. And we consider a square lattice for this purpose. The reciprocal space of a two dimensional square lattice is also a square lattice. So, I have the square lattice which is given by points I can write down. So forth. So, now it is a square lattice. So, let me look at least a few layers for convenience. Now, we take a central point, say this point that I am looking at, and I want to construct Brillouin zones around that. Brillouin zones are obtained by drawing perpendicular bisectors of the vectors between this particular point which I show here and to all its neighbors. Okay. So, that is how I will draw the Brillouin zone. So, if I do that, then I will have the first zone will be given by this, the second zone will be given by the area between the first zone the second zone. So, if I want to look at the third zone is given by, we have okay. Now, let me use a highlighter to show the different zones. So, this is the first zone. Okay, and the second zone is the following. The second zone will be this one. And then the third zone will be this one. Actually, showing up to third zone is enough for our purpose, and we will not go into the others. So, let me rub out the others, because I do not think the others are accurately depicted, because it depends upon, one has to draw the perpendiculars and then obtain the regions. So, it will not be as simple as that. So, what we have is interior one, blue is first zone, yellow is second zone, and the brown is the third zone. Now, the constant energy surfaces in two dimensional lattice are actually circles. So, supposing I look at the highest occupied constant energy surface, which is actually the Fermi surface, then Fermi surface will look like this. I can draw the Fermi surface, and let me draw it in a different color. Okay, and how will the second zone look like? To see how the second zone looks like within this thing pi by a, pi by b, that is within the square of. So, this is actually if I write down, this will be pi by 2 this thing, this will be pi by a, this will be minus pi by a comma 0 comma 0, and then this will be 0 comma pi by a comma pi by a. So, I am going this much in pi by a and up pi by a, and this will be minus pi by a. Well, let us see how the second zone will look like. So, to see how the second zone will look like, let us draw the zone boundary first. and we can always obtain a reduced zone representation of these surfaces by actually moving the following. By actually moving this red piece all the way there into this one, into this part, and this one down to this part down here, and this part down here. So, if I do that, then I will get the following. So, you see that the interior has a shape which is something like a petal of a flower, okay. And let us see how the how it will look in the third zone, okay. So, to see how it will the Fermi surface will look like in the third zone, we will draw the zone again. And you know the portion that is here comes here, the portion here comes here, portion here comes here, and so on and so forth. So, what you will basically have is something of this kind. So, you see that these portions, that is this portion, this portion, this portion, this portion, this portion, this portion, and this portion and this portion, they are the ones that are actually put together. So, this is how the Fermi surface will look like in the first zone, in the second zone, and then in the third zone. And we can also look at what happens to the density of states of different bands, okay. That we will do in the next lecture. For now I will stop here, and then we will continue with the density of states for the next lecture. Thank you.